So I think I'm going to try and make myself upset because I'm going to talk about avoidant personality disorder when you don't have anybody else. Because a lot of people who are avoidant basically stay with their family for their entire life, and they get really stuck staying with their families. Oh, I have another cat over here too. Here. Oh, you don't want to be on the camera? Say hi. Say hi. There he goes. Okay. Anyway, sorry. I have a mad cat. Anyway, so if you stay with your family, it might feel like you're completely alone, but you're not totally alone. I've actually been completely alone because, I'm wicked smart. I should kick them out before I start these videos. When I went to get my master's degree, I don't know what the hell ever possessed me. I decided to go to school 2 months early and went to a city I have never even visited before, had never been to at all, didn't know anybody at all in the area, and because I wasn't technically a matriculated student yet, I couldn't even go on campus. So I was stuck literally for 2 months, almost 2 months, it was about 7 weeks, completely by myself. Didn't have a job, didn't know layout of the land, didn't know where anything was, didn't know, okay, totally alone. No cats, because I was completely by myself. That's what I should have done first, was get a cat. Oh, now you're coming back and being nice? Okay. Anyway, so, that is brutal and devastating, and, so, I'm assuming that if you're alone and you're avoidant, you're not in that kind of situation where you literally threw yourself into the middle of the ocean somewhere or in the middle of the city somewhere and had no contacts, no people, no nothing. Oh, now he's biting me. I don't suggest doing that. My kind of avoidance is the kind where if I'm around people I've never met before and there's a chance I'll never see them again, I do better than feeling like I'm being judged and I'm going to be called out for it by people who know me. So it could have been worse, but it was damn bad. I mean, I literally just stayed in the apartment. It was in the summer and I baked. No air conditioning, and just stayed there and did nothing. Didn't have television. This was before the internet. I just hours and hours and hours did nothing. And finally, I did what I recommend to everybody else. I eventually found a place to volunteer at. Because it was a master's degree, you couldn't really get a job. I could have gotten a temporary job, but the program I was in, you were supposed to only go to school, and it was like if you had a full-time job, then they would have kicked you out of the program. So, now I got another cat wanting to come in here. Don't think so. Now they're going to fight under the door at each other. Anyway, so, yeah, how to cope with really, truly being alone. Is, first of all, know if you're going to be triggered by something and avoid it. Like today, I was going to go to Target because I hate myself apparently, so that I could, look at all the decorations of all the stuff that I wasn't going to do in my own house, and see the people happily, cheerily buying presents for each other and blah blah blah. I was like, there's nothing in Target that I need. There's nothing in Target that I need for like the next 3 weeks. Therefore, no, no, no. No Target for me. Stay away because it would be nothing but bring me down. Oh my goodness, these cats. Maybe they got into the catnip. Did you get into the catnip? You guys are crazy. Anyway, so avoid Targets. Try to come up with a routine and stick to it. Now, this is, I'm not talking permanently. You can't live as an avoidant person truly as a hermit. Might seem like that's a great idea, might seem like that's the ideal, might seem like that's going to solve all your problems. It's not. It's going to make things worse. But if temporarily you have to be alone, especially because there's holidays coming up, and then get into a routine and do it. It's not why I'm doing this Vlogmas thing. But that's the kind of thing that you could do. You could get a job and go every day and make sure that you get your certain kind of tea that you drink that's your specialty or something like that. Or you could walk a certain way back home, or exercise, or have a volunteer shift, or something. But get a routine going. That will help. That'll help. Even, I've known people that have, it wouldn't be for me, but they have, like meal plans and everything, and they know, okay, it's Friday, I eat pizza on Friday, that sort of thing. That's a big help. What is not a big help, although again, it will feel like it, it'll seem like it, and there's a part of your brain that's probably going, that's what I need to do, is of course self-medicating with alcohol, etc. That's not going to help. Maybe a little, but if you can keep it in check, we're talking like seriously 1 or 2 drinks a day, that's it. That was definitely something that I was attempting to do, was to numb my way through it. It'll make it worse because, in my case, in that situation, oh, now the other cat, anyway, I did have a definite end in sight, because I was starting school, and stop, and I did start school, and so that period ended to a degree. I did, again, have the routine, and there were people that were in my life, and they weren't like my friends by any means, definitely not family, but there were people, and so it wasn't completely, I was pretty much alone, but it wasn't as alone. It did change. Things changed. So keep that in mind, that whatever you're going through is temporary. If the problem is right now you're really feeling alone because a holiday is coming, well, 2 weeks from now, all the holidays will be done, and it'll just be, regular winter. I used to, for years, like decades, I would always, it was just given. People thought I was completely crazy. I would take the last week of January off work, and I didn't necessarily do anything on the holiday. Now they call them a staycation, and isn't that cool? I would just decompress, because watching people, do their holiday thing made me, feel very much like I was much more alone and much more an outsider than, say the first week in November. But again, that was temporary. So keep that in mind. And well, I keep saying I want short vlogs, or whatever these are. So here we go. There's the short one, because that's my advice, is make a routine. Very consciously do something to structure your time. And remember that it is temporary. And try not to basically go into full-blown alcoholism. I mean, that's a distraction. But again, it's like, okay, so you're going in this low level and then you go down into this pit. You got to pull yourself back up just to be where you were when it was so awful and depressing. I don't know what I'm saying. Cat stereo. Anyway, so that's my advice on what to do, and to know that you're not totally alone. Just because there are other people in the world who are going through the exact same thing, feeling the exact same thing. That's cold comfort, I know. But it feels impossible. It feels like there is no way that anybody could have ever gone through this, are going through this. It always, that's the nature of the beast. People think they're the only ones, but they're not. And so maybe that would be the other thing that can help. So, not that much advice. That's about all I can come up with. That and the thing that everybody tells avoidant people, that's the most impossible thing to do, which is to give yourself a break and be kind to yourself. Just like against your nature, I get that. But if you're way down in the pit, you might as well give it a shot. Can't make things worse, right? Maybe it's be a new habit. Maybe you could get used to, again, giving yourself a break. It's possible.